And welcome to the Hit Squad. Chad Range is alongside Jesse Finney. This segment brought to you by Shamrock Fighting Championships, the home of St. Louis MMA. You can hit us up at Hit Squad 101 ESPN's the Twitter handle, the email hitsquad at 101sports.com. Taking a look at UFC Fight Night next Wednesday, October 9th. Damian Maia versus Jake Shields. That's the main event. That's a great fight. I love Jake Shields. He's got the American Jiu-jitsu as opposed to the Brazilian. He says it's more offensive. Damian Maia, I tell you what, he did some damage now that he's at the welterweight, beat John Fitch, coming in riding a 3-game winning streak. Hey, at middleweight, he was holding his own. He went the distance with Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman. So, I mean, I think he found his groove here at the welterweight division. And Jake Shields, I like Jake. He's a hard-nosed kid.
Right. If you're a jiu-jitsu fan and this is the fight for you, I mean, this is going to be two of the top jiu-jitsu guys in the world right here. I tell you something. These are. I've been a Damian Maia fan for many years, and I got to tell you something. Jake Shields is going to give him all he can handle here. Jake's a better wrestler. Who's a better jiu-jitsu player? You really don't know. But at the same time, I think this is going to end up being a hell of a fight for you jiu-jitsu fans out there, and I'm excited for this matchup.
And it's free on Fox Wednesday night. We're going to be breaking down and making our picks coming up in segment 2. Also, UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones' next title defense will come against the #1 contender, as it should be. Glover Teixeira, likely to happen in February in Newark.
We talked about this last week, and I'm really excited for this matchup to come true. I think something with these guys, you know, Glover Teixeira was saying, hey, please don't bypass me, give him another rematch. UFC is doing the right thing here. They're fighting the #1 guy, and Glover Teixeira against Jon Jones, and I think this is the right thing to do for the UFC. And I do want to say this. Listen, I don't just wear this shirt every day of the week, okay? But I'm a little superstitious. I've been wearing it for the last 2 weeks, and I tell you something, the Cardinals are still killing it. Sorry, I had to say it now.
I had to get that in. Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see as they take on Pittsburgh. I tell you what, love the matchup.
Love the matchup. We've talked about this on and off air. This is a dream matchup for everybody. You know, it's a feel-good story in Pittsburgh, but it's going to feel good to send them home as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think when it breaks down to it, the best team comes out of the National League Central.
I love that. That's a great point. I mean, you know what? If you look at the standings, you look at 1, 2, 3. Well, who's left? Oof. 1, 2, 3. And let's hope #1 comes out on top.
It'll be interesting.
And boy, Braves, come on, send Atlanta home so we can at least get some decent TV spots. Okay, I mean, come on. You're gonna play the Cardinals at 5 o'clock or play the Cardinals at noon on a Friday. Come on.
Well, the Thursday games, like in the afternoon,
at 4 o'clock.
But they tell you what, they didn't get a decent spot in the shake.
Absolute complete joke, utter slap in the face. #2 ratings for the market here in St. Louis with the Cardinals, and when we still get the shaft, and I'd like to say a lot more. But
you wanted to get that off your chest, didn't you?
I did.
You did. That was eating at you. We were tromping along with the MMA stuff, and you just
had to get it off. Sorry.
There you go. It was coming out. Great point. That's well, we are going to move back. Overeem, he's got a new coach slamming friendly fighters.
Listen, let me tell you something. He doesn't just have a new coach. He's got probably the best kickboxing coach in the world. Okay, violent. Mike's Gym. I mean, I tell you something. These guys have been world renowned for years, and I tell you, I love the attitude because this is actually an old kickboxing slogan. It's like, listen, you can be friends, but you can be friends after the fight. You don't need to be chum before the fights, and I totally agree with that 110%. Listen, we can all cool. I mean, we're fine, but listen, I'm going to crack you in the face. I mean, it's a lot easier to punch someone in the face that you don't like than you do like.
Yeah.
Now, I think that this is a good move for Overeem, but listen, don't forget your wrestling and your jiu-jitsu as well, because you can get put on your back pretty quick. I do like the new mindset because whatever you were doing was not working for you.
I was going to say, it was kind of due for a change for Overeem. He's had a few tough last fights, right. And we got to see if he can...
Change, man. Change is good. Change is good for something like this. And, don't forget where his roots. His roots are from the kickboxing world. You know what? Go back to what you know. I tell you something, this is a smart move on Overeem's fight, on his move. And I think mentally as well. And I think this touches on it is, he needed it mentally to get his mean, aggressive style back. And this is something that he needed to get himself surrounded with some more kickboxers. And I think it's a slick move on his part.
And it says, we can say hi, but I don't want to be your friend because I can't fight against you. Then I can't fight against you.
Right. I mean, there's a difference between...
I mean, a payday I think paydays make people look the other way. But you are on the side of you don't like guys who are friends fighting each other.
I don't
out
like
of the same camp.
Exactly. Out of the same camp. I mean, there's a difference between the same camp and being friends. I mean, at the same time, listen, that's your job. Yes, if you're out of the same camp, I'm talking Daniel Cormier and Cain Velasquez. Hey, listen, until they get there, there's no need to sit there and keep beating the dead horse. If they have to at the very end, you got to do what you got to do. But until you get there, you don't have to really worry about it. That's just my personal opinion on it.
I just want to see the good fights. If it's, if it's Rory McDonald taking on GSP, then that's what it is. As you know, I think that's what the fans want.
I agree. I agree with you. But until it gets,
I understand.
I'm sorry. Until it gets to that point, you really don't think. I don't think you have to.
Yeah. It's not there yet. And the odds that the UFC will one day purchase Bellator plummeted further. Dana White said Bellator has no value whatsoever to the UFC on Media Day 168, saying that other organizations they bought, Strikeforce, Pride, were worth buying. What do you think is the future of Bellator?
Great question. I really enjoy that. I think that you can never, Dana White said the exact same thing about Strikeforce. He said the exact same thing about a lot of other organizations that he ended up buying. So I don't think you can take a whole lot out of this. Do I think that he's going to end up buying Bellator? No, I actually don't. I really don't, because Bellator's owned by Viacom, which is a TV network, and they've got more money than Dana and the Fertittas put together. So I don't see that really happening. I could see maybe at the very end, if Bellator continues or starts to go down, I could see them probably going and saying, you know what, goodbye. Hey, you know what, just buy us. We'll give you our TV, or of our TV footage and everything else that comes along with it. Some contracts. Yeah, it's a possibility they could probably buy them if Viacom wants to sell.
All right.
If they don't want to sell, they don't really have to sell. They don't need the money.
And it could be just Dana White's way of driving down the price.
Right.
I'm not interested.
Right.
If I am, here's my price.
Right.
He wouldn't say, oh, yeah, I'm really interested. Then that's going to jack up the price. So interesting seeing. And a special congratulations, Jesse Finney named Best MMA Fighter of 2013.
Who did not fight.
Yeah, but you beat up the guy who was trying to steal from Schnucks. That's the only thing I was thinking. I thought, well, that's got to be the fight of the year then. I mean, that's like, Captain Crestwood, he's out there, and that the Schnucks Crestwood taking people out who are, So, but hey, congratulations.
Thank you. The way that the RFTs, when I kept getting text and Facebook messages and things telling me that I won MMA Fighter of the Year, and I was like, what are they even talking about? But the way they spun it was to say that it was a good Samaritan. I was training other guys.
And you put it,
And I put my work in with mixed martial arts. So thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said before on my Facebook, because I actually think Tyrone Woodley, Adam Sella, Josh Sample, and Andrew Sanchez, as far as fighters, you guys are the ones that deserve it this year, not me. And listen, I'll just keep fighting crimes.
There you go. I love it. You're watching 101sports.com. Stay with us. We're going to have predictions coming up in our next segment.